Welcome back to the HyphenatEdD Leader podcast. I'm Dr. Rochelle Smarr, and this is season 2, Leading from the Margins to the Center. You're about to enter Voices from the Huddle, a special series within this season where we will pull up a chair with EdD holders, scholars, practitioners who are reimagining leadership within and beyond the university. These are colleagues that I deeply admire, people who are navigating complex, hyphenated journeys across all educational spectrums, their personal lives, and are really intentionally working beyond the academy. Each conversation you'll hear is a real dialogue, sometimes virtual, sometimes in person, centered on leadership practices, their identity, and multiple hyphens that we all carry. These aren't polished keynote speeches, so buckle up, Buttercup. They're honest, vulnerable conversations where we talk about what it means to lead from the margins to the center. I'm excited to welcome this multi-hyphenated leader to the conversation, so please join me for today's staff huddle. Well, welcome to the HyphenatEdD Leader podcast, Dr. Sharon Porter. Do you mind sharing with us your introduction and any hyphens that you identify with as a hyphenated leader?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Smarr, for having me on your platform. Well, I'm a principal. I'm an instructional leader, a leadership coach, a culture builder. I'm a podcast host, a publisher, a media executive, and somewhere in between there, I'm also a mentor, a learner, and actually someone who cares deeply about creating access for other people. So I really resonate with your platform of the hyphenated leader.
Yes, I was going to say, like, you're doing all the things. How do these multiple hyphens you just mentioned, how do they show up in your leadership style, like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I used to segment them. Truly, I used to compartmentalize them, but now they show up together. I'm telling you, I was intentional about not mixing them together for some odd reason. I'm not even really sure why, but I just found out that when I come and be my authentic self in whatever space that I am taking place in at that moment, it works out better. There was a time in my professional at the schoolhouse as a principal that I didn't want to tell people I was an author, that I didn't want to tell people I podcast. And I thought about that. I said, that is really silly.
Yeah.
And for an educational leader, you should want your scholars and even your teachers to know that you can do multiple things, that you don't have to be stuck in a box. So whenever I show up with all of me.
Exactly. I love that because that's why I started the podcast is that I realized I was wearing multiple hats and doing multiple things, and why be ashamed that I have multiple interests, a variety of things in
Yes.
people. But I think you have a really good way of keeping all your hyphens in check because of course you might compartmentalize them, but as I see, like you're managing them, like, and we'll get to a question about rhythm, but I just am inspired that you're able to wear so many hats and still show up so authentically yourself and not appear frazzled of any sort. Like you seem great. So I'm
Thank
inspired
you.
already. So let's take a step back. I know that you have an educational doctorate in EdD, and that's a part of the title of the podcast because I want to give space for us as practitioners. Can you tell us why you chose the EdD over a PhD?
That is a excellent question. With all of this debate of all of the doctoral degrees,
Mhm.
my educational doctorate really shaped me to be a doer. It helped me think about the systems, the strategy, and the sustainable change that I want to actually make in the place where I am. And it's always through the mindset of implementation.
Yes.
I love research. I love solving problems, but the research has to come from the page and start making change. And
Right.
so to me, that's what the educational doctorate, that's why I chose that. I am a practitioner. And
Practitioner at heart.
please, I love the research. I love the research, but it has to do something. It
Right.
has to impact, it has to make change. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm in a what we call an ATSI designated school, a low performing school.
Ah, okay.
It's fueling my passion because I'm learning, I'm researching, I'm tweaking things, I'm doing things to see what change is going to make. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
my just the love of the implementation is really was my route to choosing an educational doctorate.
I love that because it's not that you want to put your knowledge on a shelf of some sort, but you actually want to use it and put it into good use as well. So,
Yes.
and who's to say you have to stop doing research now? I'm sure you're still doing it.
Right,
We all are.
exactly.
Formally or informally, we're still doing some research. Um,
Absolutely.
that's great. That because that's fueled why I pursued mine as well. Can you share like why do you think so many women of color encounter challenges to their leadership?
Wow, that's a really great question. Women of color often walk in leadership carrying a lot of weight.
Hmm.
Um, there are assumptions, there are stereotypes, and also moments where our expertise and knowledge is questioned,
Yep.
even before we speak sometimes.
Mhm.
And so I just see that the system wasn't always built with us in mind. And I just think that with limited access to sponsorship, opportunities can come with extra scrutiny. It is hard to really find someone that's going to really help sponsor. And I don't mean coach and mentor, I mean sponsor you, put
Mhm.
you in the rooms where you're not,
Right.
have your name called in those rooms. And I just haven't found that many people who will do that. But centering ourselves,
Mhm.
I think, really takes intention. We have to be intentional about where we are. And
Right.
that means owning our story. That means naming our impact. That means building strong networks of support because support is out there. You may
Right.
just have to work to find it, but it's out there.
Mhm.
And it also means we need to mentor while we climb.
Yes.
That is so crucial to me. You don't have to be at a certain level to help someone else come up.
Right.
Wherever you are, there is someone behind you that you can help.
Mhm.
And so I believe that we have to do that. And I always remind myself that I'm not in these spaces by accident. It's intentional. It's design. I'm
Right.
here because prepared to be here. I'm
Mhm.
capable, and it's necessary for me to be in those spaces.
Exactly. I feel like you're right. There's so much of a difference between like mentorship and sponsorship. But what I really heard you saying about intentionality was like self-advocacy for what you
Yes.
need and what spaces you want to be in. Can you share an example of how you've advocated for yourself to center your own experience and your own leadership so that you were where you intentionally wanted to be?
Absolutely. 2011, I want to say, I became my school district's coordinator for the induction of new assistant principals and novice principals. I designed the program based on my dissertation.
Ooh.
My research was on leadership development and principal preparation.
Hmm.
This program was so amazing, Dr. Smarr. And I'm not saying it because it was me, but it was so amazing. And right now, I sit in a school district where over half of the sitting principals, I coached and mentored them.
Amazing.
So it was so amazing that other people outside of my school district began to take note. I would get DMs. How can I be in this program? How can I be? And I would say, oh, it's only for, my school district.
Hmm.
And I thought about that, Dr. Smarr. That's one of those hyphenated thoughts. I'm
Yep.
like, hmm,
Could be a
I
point.
may can do my own mentor program for assistant principals across the country. And
Wow.
I did just that.
Yay.
And then my school district put some brakes on it and said because I was doing it for the district that I couldn't do it as an entrepreneur. It was a conflict of interest. So what did Dr. Sharon H. Porter do? I said, okay, I will return back to the schoolhouse. I went back to become a principal, which is where I am now.
Okay.
And I continued on with my next in line to lead program that I do for assistant principals. And it's so amazing. The first book that came out of that, our visionary leader, Dr. Younger, was a part of that
Really?
as an assistant principal. Absolutely. And
Wow.
so and actually, yeah, so many wonderful things came out of that. And it worked so well, I then had to create another program that was for first year principals, which I called the New Principal Roundtable. And
Awesome.
so as my principals moved on and became principals, they still wanted that support.
Right.
And so I created the New Principal Roundtable, where I then continued on helping first year principals. So I had to look at that because what could have been a barrier
Right.
came out to be actually something very advantageous for me. So
Right.
we can't let people think that they're blocking you.
No.
I don't care who they are.
Mm-mm. No,
Because I could have said, okay, all right, I'll stop and not do my own thing. No, sir, no, ma'am.
no.
I said goodbye to it. And I kept doing my thing. And I said, I have no problem going back to the schoolhouse, being a principal. I love being a principal.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I did.
Oh, I love that. So let me make sure I'm understanding right. So you stopped the program you were doing for the district and continued on to
Mm-hmm.
do it on your side as your own
Absolutely.
business.
As
That's good.
one of
I
my
bet
own
they didn't expect
businesses.
that. They didn't expect you to say
Absolutely.
no.
Absolutely. They did not.
They know
Absolutely.
an
They did
opportunity for
not.
you. Yeah.
Yes.
Why would they not want you to do this thing? So they're lost, but I'm glad to see how you allow it to like pivot, but also ripple into more things as well. So
Absolutely.
that's amazing. Wow. What advice would you give someone if they were in that kind of similar position? If they were doing something well and then their job is like, hey, you can't do both things for both audiences. Just curious.
Yeah, well, first of all, I would say you have to give yourself grace, right? Because being a hyphenated leader,
Hmm.
all the balls are not going to be up all the time,
Right.
right? We're juggling different things. That's the nature of the beast. So
Hmm.
you have to give yourself grace, give yourself space, and learn to really balance those shifts. Because if whatever you want to do, you can do it. You may not be able to do everything all at the same time, but
Right.
you can do everything that you want to do. And so I would just say, know that some seasons require more of you in
Hmm.
certain places. And so you just have to be in tune with yourself to know. And that includes your personal life, that includes all your endeavors.
Right.
If things need your attention at home, you might need to slow down somewhere else and give that more attention to where it needs to be. So you have to be in tune because you cannot run on all cylinders at all times. You
No.
cannot do that.
And you're right.
And
Like
so it's really just knowing what you can do.
right. What you can do, and like you said, it's in the season, right? It's not at all time that all your hyphens are like
Yeah.
very much bubbling up, but it's the rhythm and
Yes.
a part of that balance that you have to have for yourself. You mentioned that you're a part of many different communities, and so I'm curious, what does that look like for you? What does community look like for you in like leadership life, and what values do you bring to it? Because you're giving a lot of gems here, but like, what does community look like for you as someone who is looking for support from others?
Absolutely. My community, and I find it so humbling to be a part of so many organizations. And I try not to take on too much because I don't want to disappoint. I don't want to let people down because once people see that you're a go-getter and you do things, they want to put you in leadership positions and all of
Mhm.
that. But you have to be able to say no. I just want to be a member.
Mhm.
I'm in so many different organizations, but I get so much from each of them. And one of the things that struck me, I guess about 4 or 5 years ago, is I really had to learn to say no. And actually, it was longer than that because I started my doctoral degree in 2006, and this is the first time
Oh,
2006, and went to 2012 and did not earn 6 years in a doctoral program.
no. Was it the
And that's
PhD?
because no, it was the EDD, but I was trying to do everything while doing
Gotta
that.
do it.
And
Yeah.
that's what I mean by certain things you got to come down when you're up on another. And
Hmm.
so I was still trying to do it. I'm in a sorority, I'm in church, I'm in different organizations. So I was still trying to do everything
Yeah.
and be there for everyone. But what was the one that let go? It was my doctoral degree because I didn't earn it then.
Right.
All that money, 2006 to 2012.
Really?
And my advisor, they was like, you have to make a choice. You either need to finish or graduate with your educational specialist degree, because I had all the credits for that.
Right.
And I decided to just stop, get my educational specialist degree, and then in maybe five years later, I went back, went to Howard University this time, and finished in 3 years. And so, it's a lot. And so that's just what I mean by you have to know when to say no.
Yes.
Because you can be in all of these organizations, but you can't do everything, and you can't be a leader in everything. In the position of a leader, you know, you can lead wherever you are, but not all the time should you be in the leadership position, because with that comes so much requirement.
It does. And I think with that, what I hear from you is that that's a part of being an ambitious Black woman who wants to do and be it all. That's not quite the superwoman that everyone tells us we can be, but like, I just want to do, I just want to be, I want to give, and like, I just want to serve of the sort. So I appreciate you telling me, like, you got to learn how to say no and when to kind of like balance the different opportunities coming your way, because you don't want the balls to drop where your cup is not filled, that you're not meeting the goals you have for yourself. But you slipped in there. You went to the HBCU for your degree. Tell us more about the program and where were you before and how did you end up at Howard? Because I didn't know they
Yeah,
had
I
EDD
did.
programs. Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, two HBCUs, my undergrad, my first degree and my last degree are at HBCUs. So shout out to both of them. Winston Salem State University and Howard University. And so when I returned, I actually, in between that time I was telling you about, I relocated back to North Carolina. I'm in the Washington, D.C. area now.
Okay.
My father passed, and I moved back home just for a couple of years. So when I returned, it probably wasn't maybe a year, I got an email. Two universities, University of Maryland and Howard, was partnering with my school district for cohorts for the EDD, paying 50% of the tuition. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen,
Motivated.
because after that 6 years of paying and didn't earn it, I needed a break.
Yes.
And Howard was the one I had always longed to go to Howard and just really couldn't afford it. So when this opportunity came through my email, I knew instantly, Dr. Smarr, that I was going to be selected.
Yep.
I just felt it.
God ordained
and I applied. Yes, exactly. I applied, I got it, and it was amazing. I absolutely, it's nothing other than an HBCU when you're really trying to get the learning. I'm telling you, and it's nothing against. I've been to PW. I have a degree from Johns Hopkins University. I was at Walden University for my. It is nothing like it.
Yeah.
And I just say shout out to all of those professors, the dean at the time, Dr. Williams, my advisor, Dr. Griot, who was amazing, that got me through that program in 3 years. So I would not change a thing if I had to do it all over again.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So it is meant to be that you went to Howard and were able to finish. Was it a cohort program? Was it online?
It was a cohort. Yes, it was a cohort. Wow. And it was probably about 15 of us, I think, in my cohort, and maybe 11 or 12 of us finished.
That's still high rates. Yes. So of the 15. Yes. Wow. So you're probably in that first cohort.
Yes. Yeah, it's just actually I'm in the second. It was one right before. Yeah, it was one right before us. And we were the second cohort. But it was just a blessing to be a part of that.
Good. Do you still stay in touch with any of your classmates?
Oh, absolutely. We're all in our school district, and everyone is doing amazing things.
Oh, good.
Everyone is doing amazing things. Oh, absolutely. And we call it the doctoral line because it was just like, I don't know if you are pledged to sorority or not, but it was like a second pledging for us.
Was it? Oh,
so those are like, we call those Yeah, so we call it our doctoral line, sisters and brothers. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was amazing though.
Ooh. And it's a bond like no other because you went through it together. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm still pretty close to a couple of my classmates, and I see some of them because we work on the same campus. So yes,
Okay. Excellent.
very much so. Wow. So you mentioned Dr. Latrice Younger earlier and being the visionary leader
Yes.
for the Black women in educational leadership. Can you share a little bit about how you two came together for this book and what chapter did you write in it as well?
Um, absolutely. And so, yeah, we came together because I invited her into my collaboration book,
Okay.
Next in Line to Lead,
Hmm.
2017, actually.
Ooh,
Is when that was my first published anthology that I did. And
really?
so she, yes.
Yeah, wow.
And she, of course, is the founder of Black Women in Education Leadership, Black Women Education Leaders. And I was the founding secretary for the organization.
Oh, congrats.
I was there at the beginning when she created this wonderful organization. And
Hmm.
so just over the years, I've always told you really need to do a book.
Yes.
And it just wasn't the right time. And then last year she called. She says, I think I'm ready.
Yay. I'm
I
glad she was
think I'm
ready.
ready. And she absolutely, and she just recently received her doctorate.
Hmm.
And so her dissertation was based off of what she basically founded the principles of the organization of. So it was a perfect fit.
Hmm.
My chapter in the book is called Rooted in Purpose,
Okay.
Not Position. And
Mm.
so I really just reflect on my journey of leading as a Black woman in spaces where representation, resilience, and results meet
Mm.
every day.
Yeah.
And just, I was the first African American principal in a rural school in North Carolina, middle school, back in 2011 when I relocated back home.
2011?
I was the principal of a middle school. In 2011, I was the first Black principal that they had, and they haven't had one since.
Mm. Yeah.
And so I faced a lot of challenges, and a lot of times, a lot of people didn't know about it. And even now, people who I worked with or who worked there while I was there, they were, shocked when I say it, when I tell my story. And that's because I didn't broadcast it. I dealt with it. I did, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so they look now like, what? That happened? Did that happen?
Uh,
But that's because I didn't make it public. I
right.
dealt with it and I was able to maneuver through it.
Hmm.
So I really just talk about, how my purpose became my compass and it just guided every decision that I make. And so it's influence is just far beyond a title. And
Hmm.
so that's what I talk about in my chapter.
I can't wait to read it because it's speaking so much to my own like little educational story and journey. Like, yeah, it beyond the title, beyond the position, and
Yes.
really that results, not just resilience, but like results. And I agree. I think when people
Yes.
read my chapter, they're like, I didn't realize you went up against all that. Like I did, but
Right.
yeah, we have to get it done.
Exactly.
And it's not
Yes.
like we're looking for validation, but like it's real.
It's
We come up
real.
against a
It's
lot.
real.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. Is there any advice that you want to like leave my audience with about being a hyphenated leader or how we can stay in touch with you because you're ripping and running and
Yeah.
I just want to
I
make
love
sure we
it.
know.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. And I would just have to go back to say be your authentic self in all spaces. Because I had to learn that later. And I wished I would have embraced that sooner.
Mm,
And not and it was no reason to be ashamed, but for some reason I just didn't want people to know. But be who you are wherever you are. That's what I would say to the hyphenated leader, because we are many things and we can be many things.
many things. Okay,
Definitely.
one last question for you. So because we are many things, we were multi hyphenates, how do you refresh yourself amongst all your hyphenated hats? How do you find
Yeah.
reset and purpose for yourself in all of this?
And this is probably, I'm going to tell you, I am a rester. Like I love like true rest. That's how I rejuvenate.
Okay.
I'm a true introvert. And I've had to learn to be out there with people just because of the nature of my businesses and everything that I do. You have to get out there. But I'm a true rester. I love rest. And when I get rest, I can move mountains. And so that's my way. Not even, some people like going to the spa. Some people like just give me a nice bed with some nice music and I'm good to go
Okay,
for the
that's good
next day.
enough.
And that's what I need on a daily basis. I'm telling you, I have to get my rest.
Rest.
I'm not one who stay up late. I have to go to bed.
No, I learned that when I was in grad school the first time. I was like, I'm not a late night. I'm not
Yes.
gonna stay up
Nope.
all night burning the midnight candle. I need my 7 or 8 hours.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yes.
perfect.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Porter, for being on the Hyphenated Leader
Absolutely.
podcast. I will be sure to share with the audience the many ways to stay in touch with you as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And LinkedIn is definitely the best way. I'm Sharon Hargrove Porter on LinkedIn. That's the best way to be in contact with me.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us in the huddle today. I hope this conversation gave you something to reflect on, whether it's a new way of thinking about your hyphens, a leadership practice you want to try, or simply a reminder that you're not alone in this work. If this episode resonated with you, share with another multi-hyphenated leader in education, invite them to the next staff huddle. Drop a comment, share a story, or send a topic you'd love to hear more about on either my LinkedIn page or on Substack. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Rochelle Smarr or join me on Substack at HyphenatEdDLeader, where I'm sharing more stories, frameworks, and resources from our conversation with the guest speakers from this series, Voices from the Huddle, that are leading into the season 2 theme of leading from the margins to the center. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps other hyphenated leaders find us and join us in the huddle conversation. Please know that Voices from the Huddle is an evolving and curated space, and I'm always open to new voices. So if you are a hyphenated leader yourself, or you would like to nominate someone whose perspective belongs in this very huddle, I welcome the opportunity to learn more from your story and be able to share it with the community. So be sure to email me, connect with me through a DM on LinkedIn or a message through the Substack. I'm happy to begin to build the community to recognize and elevate more voices of hyphenated leaders. Let's normalize talking about our experiences, let's support each other, and really build up this hyphenated leader community. So until our next staff huddle, be sure that you continue to lead authentically, keep embracing every hyphen, and have fun as well. So this is the Hyphenated Leader podcast, and I am Dr. Smarr. I will see you at the next staff huddle.